What's up, everybody? A Sparrow with a Gun here from Sleepless Nights with another episode on the Space Engineers Inspiration series. We're starting things off today with the CNL Battleship Mk.II, I think, if my memory serves. Which is a fairly straightforward battleship in terms of its purpose. I particularly found the design to be pretty interesting and cool looking, especially since it's a modless. I do like a couple of the things, like this back area where it's got some of these almost vented kind of looks to it, where you can see the light coming through there. I always love those kind of suspended yet still attached kind of structures. I think that's pretty cool. It has a lot of different little armor designs on it that I think is really interesting. I believe this one is designed to carry fighters or some kind of attack ships. It looks like it has its own kind of like homemade torpedo system in here, by the looks of things. So I'm not entirely sure how all that works, but I didn't recall anything like that in the description of the ship. But yeah, it clearly has some kind of homemade torpedo. There's the door, very conveniently placed. I originally thought that these little like hammerhead type shapes were the bridge, but as I look at it now, I looked at the images and stuff on the workshop file and realized that it wasn't the case, but they look more like almost like thruster pods by the looks of things, so that's pretty cool. Once again, I've mentioned this before in a couple of different builds, but I just love detail stuff, particularly because it's fairly difficult to do with vanilla. It doesn't have as many blocks available as modded does when you get into different ramp lengths and shapes and stuff like that, so having all this kind of detail stuff is really, really cool. So let's head on in and see what we can see. First, I need gravity. Why do we not have gravity anywhere? Do we not have any gravity? Where's the... wait, where's the door? There it is. Okay. Looks like we don't. We're using mag boots. So it's looking like we don't have gravity for some reason. With a ship this... I didn't get that. There we go. Yeah, we don't have gravity. I don't really pay attention too much, in case anyone was wondering why it took me so long to figure that out. It's because I'm still, when it comes to gravity and stuff, I don't pay attention very often, so I'm still kind of looking for the wrong spot on the HUD type of thing. I don't know where this goes. Apparently it goes down. I am a little bit surprised that with a ship this size we don't have any gravity, to be honest. This looks like a fighter hangar, and it seems we have 1, 2, and 3 docks. Where's this come out at, though, is what I'm curious about. Because I honestly didn't see very many spots. Hello? Hello. There we go. I honestly didn't see very many spots where the hangar doors were, so I'm trying to figure out where I missed them. Ah! Okay, it's on the underbelly. I didn't look down under here. So there's a hangar down here, and I imagine that the top area of the elevator will go up to the bridge rather than going down or up to another hangar. It didn't look like there was another hangar on top, so I'm guessing that's the way to the bridge. Let's go ahead. Wait, where am I? Oh, there we are. Oh, we have a gravity thing. I wonder why gravity's turned off. Let's turn that on. Hope nothing breaks. Yeah, that's better. They probably had it off to deal with the, I'm assuming the homemade torpedo weapon probably utilizes a gravity-based propulsion system. So I'm guessing this is like a red alert. I can't really... it just says programmable block. But I'm guessing this is like red alert and it would close this blast shield door type thing. Hello? I don't understand the collision boxes on these buttons. Sometimes I'm looking right at the thing. It's just not... it's just not picking anything up. I mean, it looks like there's a button there. Unless this is somehow... wow, that's really weird. I mean, I know I don't have my crosshair on, but it should be... There it is. Whoa, that's really weird. I don't know what is up. This isn't like a mod. This is the main... I don't know what's up with this. It's not detecting it at all. That is super weird. That's really weird. I can walk right over to this one and it highlights it. This one, not so much. That's funky. I really have no idea what to say about that. Because it's the same exact block on both sides. It's not like there... Wait, there it is. How in the... What is going on with that button? That thing is super glitched. Okay, so that's the main bridge. We'll deal with that in a minute. Well, I guess we could... Since we're already here, we could just go ahead and test out the flight and stuff. Alright. So it looks like we have rocket launchers, gravity cannon. I'm assuming that's what the G stands for. Welders, hangar door, blast doors, turrets, hydrogen thrusters, fighter piston. Not really sure what that's for. Camera, jump drives, projector, weld, and Mac. Not sure what the Mac's for other than maybe a cannon. Programmable block but not named. Connectors for port and starboard. And then that looks like it. Let's see. So let's go ahead. We'll grab a blank thing here. And let's grab... That's the gravity cannon. Is that the only gravity generator? Hold on. No, there's a bunch of them. Okay. So is there a group gravity? Nope, that's cannons. Thrusters. Weird. I was kind of hoping that I could find that, Okay, so 17 is not listed. I'm just going to grab that, and it is on. I'm going to turn that off. That way, if we do anything with the gravity cannon, it won't mess anything up. So, looks like we have the 4 rocket launchers in the front nose for your primary weapons, and there's like turrets all over. Let's try the gravity cannon. We'll turn that on. It should launch something. Yep, it's doing stuff. There it goes. Maybe? Maybe? What does this button do? That's the gravity cannon. But it's not really going anywhere. I'm just gonna back it up for a second. We'll turn this... Probably shouldn't have pushed that again. That's probably a recycle. Yep. So I'm not really sure why it's not flying out on its own. Ooh. It's coming back to us. Don't want that. That's weird. I'm not really sure why that's working that way. I might have pressed something out of order, but it's definitely not going the right direction at all. Okay. We've messed with the hangar doors already. The blast doors, I think, are going to be these guys right here. Yep, there they are. So that's pretty cool. Kind of like a defensive measure. The turrets and all that kind of stuff seems fairly self-explanatory. What is this camera for? That's just a camera, I guess. I'm not really sure what the fighter piston button was for either. But whatever. I really don't like mag boots, to be honest. The way that they have it set up. They're kind of annoying. Okay. What did we say it was? 17? There we go. Let's just grab you. Toggle that on. Yeah, that's the right one. Yeah, I don't know why. The idea of mag boots is kind of cool. The whole, you know, you don't necessarily need gravity and stuff to walk around. But the way it's implemented with its, like, sticky behavior that, like, it wants to walk up walls and stuff like that, it's kind of annoying to me more than anything else. So, I get where some ships, like, that use a small grid or something... Oh, that's the other side. You know, where they use a small grid or something like that, and you can't put a gravity generator. I get where some of them have to do that. But I'm not overtly fond of not having gravity on a ship just because it makes you use the mag boots and it can get kind of squirrely. So we have a medical room here. I'm not really sure where this is going to end up going. Looks like jump drives and hydrogen tanks by the looks of things. So this is kind of just engineering. So I'm actually a little bit surprised at the minimal interior. Given the exterior size of the ship, I actually was expecting it to be a bit larger on the inside. I tend to do that a lot, where like 1 minute it's one of those where you think, man, I'm really having a hard time with detections today. That is so trippy. Like, this is a huge door. Looking anywhere here should connect you to it. I don't know if they did an update or what, but the sensor for this is really weird today. Let me know if you guys have been having this a lot. I mean, I know I play with my crosshair off for you guys so that it's not distracting or whatever. Let me see if that helps, because in my experience, you get kind of used to where the crosshair should be. So it's like, yeah, I'm pointing right at the thing. I'm pointing right at the thing. And nope. It just doesn't want to detect anything. This is really trippy. Sorry, I know I'm spending a lot of time on this. It's just kind of freaking me out because I can't... Like, that worked fine. But this one, not so much. This one's detecting it all over. That's really weird. That is really super weird. I'm wondering if that's some kind of bug from a recent patch or something. Nope, 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 nope. Oh, where'd it go? There it is. Yeah, I'm wondering what that's about because I don't recall it doing that lately, but on this particular one, at least so far, it's really finicky today. Alright, so I think that's going to do it for this build. Let's move on to the next one. Alrighty, so next up we have the Blue Pioneer. Now this ship is actually fairly reminiscent to one of the stock ships, in my opinion anyway, to in the original like main, one of the starter scenarios for Space Engineers. It reminds me of the blue, I don't know what they call it, but essentially they had the red one and the blue one, and this has a similar design to the blue one. It's not exact, but particularly, I wasn't actually sure if I was going to use this one or not, but then what caught my eye are these landers. Now, I do have it out in space. This is not... There's no planets in this world, so as far as the actual atmospheric tests, I can't really test that too much. But, as you can tell by the way this is laid out here, with a quick look over, it has a single thruster on the bottom, which is pretty much meant to, from what I can gather, slow down the ship so it doesn't just crash. And what looks like a parachute. Yeah, parachute hatch. I haven't really used the parachutes very much, so I was not actually sure if that's what that was or not. So, in theory, I believe in the discussions on the workshop file, I believe there was a conversation about could they go back up into space, and it was kind of one of those, like, theoretically it's possible, but it's not real probable, I'm gathering, because of the single thruster. It's like, I guess it could, but it's not all that likely. Now, one thing I have to note, I'm not sure if there's an ownership issue going on the ship, but when I first spawned in the ship, it sounded like it was making popcorn. And I was like, that's got to be turrets shooting at something, but there's nothing in this world, and there's no, you know, cargo ships or anything like that. So it's like, what are they shooting at? So I'm guessing there's some kind of either decoy block or blocks that don't have, it wasn't the Gatling turrets, it was the interior turrets. So I'm thinking there's some kind of ownership error, and it's thinking there's an enemy block on board, just as a heads up, because I do have block damage. I couldn't think of the name. I do have block damage off in this because it was just for the Inspiration series, and I wasn't worried about it actually damaging anything. And some builds do. I've done my own builds like that where it didn't have block damage because of the way you configure thrusters or whatever. So just bear that in mind if you try and paste it in and things start getting destroyed. I flew in from what seems... Oh, I was going to say this must be the actual entrance, but this is actually the entrance to one of the landers, it looks like. I know, I totally just vented the entire... I don't really care. So we have a blast furnace here. We have a medical room. We've got a readout panel. A cargo container. Ore detector, I'm pretty sure. Battery, vents. Oxygen generator. Okay, so pretty much everything you need. You would have to probably take whatever's in here and stuff and build like an assembler and refinery and stuff like that. You do have an arc furnace. So I don't remember exactly how or blast furnaces work in Space Engineers as far as if they do everything, but they do certain things a little faster or slower, or if it's restricted to certain kinds of ores. I can't really remember what their actual use is supposed to be. But the description did read that you'd probably have the basic materials in here to do at least a solar panel, or possibly two, I can't remember. So it's a survival pod, essentially. You're definitely not supposed to get back in them. Not this way, anyway. So we'll test that out in a moment. Now these two are actually off. I wonder if there's a script controlling where the first two have to launch before the second two activate, or if that's just a button control. Oh wait, no. This is like an airlock door. That's why. So that is kind of the actual entrance. I flew in through the hangar bay. But this looks like the actual side airlock doors type of thing. And then these are the other two, so they are active. Alright, so we've got obviously a bunch of bunks with cargo containers and stuff for each person. This goes into the med bay. So this is cool. We've got med bay over here. I really wish they would fix this whole walking sideways thing. It's starting to drive me nuts. I don't know if anybody else notices, but I always feel like I'm walking around like this. I know it's not quite that pronounced, but it feels that way. So we have a cargo deck up there. Let's check out the port and starboard side. Can't tell if that's just supposed to be a crawl space or what. That's the assemblers here. We've got a gyroscope here. We've got CIC. I'm guessing, unless the CIC is actually supposed to be where the bridge is. I haven't seen the bridge yet. Med bay. So this is supposed to be the cargo deck, hence all the cargo containers. And this is out on the exterior. I'm trying to figure out where the bridge is, or if it's just run by the CIC. It must be done through the CIC, I guess. Because I don't really see an actual... I don't really see an actual bridge. Which, if memory serves, I haven't messed with the vanilla ships in a long time, but if memory serves, I believe that's actually the way that the blue ship is laid out. It almost feels like this is a modified version of the blue one. And like I said, originally I wasn't even planning on using it because I thought it was just another variation on it, and then when I saw the landers, I was like, ooh, that's kind of a cool idea. How does that work? So it caught my eye. We have forward, up, forward, down, rocket launchers... Battle stations, all clear, depressurize 1 and 2, or depressurize and pressurize, whatever. Beacon, antenna, forward, up, down, all the different views. I was looking for, I guess it doesn't have controls for the pods. That's what I was looking for. So it moves about like you'd expect for a carrier type ship. It's not real fast and nimble, but it gets the job done. So I guess for the actual... oh, I missed the cryopods somehow. I think I looked over here and then just went... turned around the wrong way. So I'm guessing for the actual landers we'll have to control those manually. I guess that makes sense. You wouldn't want to accidentally launch a pod or something. You want to make sure that they're capable. Though... I would want a way to override them at least, just so you didn't have any mutineers like leaving in the escape pods. Alright, so we're in Little Lander here. What do we got here? Shutdown, don't want to do that. Gyroscope, merge block, production, power. Okay, so power is off, merge block is there. So This is not the main cockpit. Oh, it's not the main because I'm in the pod, not the ship. Got it. Now, what are you for? Lights? Camera? No. Ore detector. Production. I'm not sure what the production is going to do unless it turns the blast furnace on and something else. Like, it looks like it's for multiple blocks, but I'm not really sure what else it would use. So, with that, let's detach the merge block. Turn on the power, or is that recharge? It just says power. I'm guessing that's recharge. Interesting. So it doesn't really have... It does have a gyroscope-based control. Shut down. But it doesn't actually have... it looks like control for the thruster. So I'm wondering if the thruster has an override. No? It's just off. Interesting. So we obviously can't go in the other different various directions, but we can go up, which essentially would be simulated for, you know, if you were landing kind of thing. But it's just going to keep floating. Unless I can spin it around and stop myself. But yeah, so it's an interesting little ship because you could actually detach these little pods and land places and stuff. So I thought it was pretty cool. So with that, let's move on to the last one. Alright, so last but not least, we have the H.S.Y Hades capital class battleship thing. I think that's pretty close to the actual title of the ship. Now this is a world file because it is a modded build, and so the world file makes it easier. You don't have to actually like figure out what all's in it. There is a lot of mods on this one, but it makes it look really cool. The one thing I did not know, I was reading the description while it was loading in, is that the ship is actually still under construction. It's not entirely finished, I believe. Now, I don't know how many updates to the ship has already been made, etc. and so on. That may not be accurate anymore. But in the description, it does list that it's not fully completed yet. So if there's anything that stands out that it looks weird or something, that's probably why. But overall, I really like the design of it. It kind of has that typical battleship kind of look, the very elongated type shape, but it has a lot of, like, this kind of stuff I think is just really cool when you have these indented letters that are highlighted with lights, and I just think that's a really nice touch. That kind of stuff is just really cool. I don't know what this is. I don't know if this is, let me grab a welder real quick. I don't know if this is an LCD screen or... Oh, it's an emissive block. So that's another kind of mod. I haven't seen that one before, so I didn't know what that was. That is a really cool mod, though. That adds a lot of high-tech looking detail to the ship overall. And I also like these little fin things off the side and things. It makes it look a bit more, I don't know, ship-like, I guess, or plane-like. I'm not really sure, but I think they're cool. It definitely has firepower. I believe the description said that it was designed for broadsiding. And with all these triple-barreled cannons and stuff on this thing, it definitely looks the part. And let's see, I think we have a door down here. We have a cool modded airlock with some gravity. Gotta love me some gravity. Alrighty.
Ship systems switching to standby.
Oh, well, okay then. What do we got here? So this looks like some form of fighter bay.
Ship systems switching to standby.
Is it just gonna keep repeating that? It's some kind of fighter bay because there's connectors off to the side there, and it looks like openings into space.
Switching to standby.
Got it. It's in standby mode. Understood. Copy that. Alright. This is an interesting way to do greenery, I suppose. Now, as far as what everything actually is, this is going to be a lot of guessing on my part, I believe, because it listed kind of like what types of areas were involved in the ship, but I didn't really see a lot of like layout plans or anything like that. So obviously this looks like some kind of crew quarters. This back here is probably some kind of just mid-floor lobby, I'm assuming. Let's see, where else? Where else? This is another... This is either the same crew quarters or another one, because I feel like we passed a door. So it's another one. There's no door on this side. Alrighty, what's over here? Bathrooms. Nice. That works. We have a living area, it looks like. That is the one area that I really feel like modded has the upper hand over vanilla builds, is interior detail. Exterior, I've seen a lot of very creative people come up with ways to do exterior detail in vanilla without resorting to mods. Cryo room and secondary engine room. I'm guessing the more up we go, the further into the command areas we'll get, so let's go ahead and check this out first. So we definitely have our cryo bay area. But yeah, so that's the thing that I've noticed in just doing the Inspiration series for a long time and examining a lot of different builds. So we have oxygen generators down here. And what is this? Exactly. Oh, nanobot. Okay, I knew the block looked familiar. It's the build and repair system. I use that myself. But yeah, so I've seen a couple of different builders that could do some pretty crazy stuff with just vanilla blocks, but when it comes to interior, I mean, I've still seen some people that can do some really detailed interiors and it be vanilla. We saw that in the last episode with the Orion, I think, was a good example of that. It had a lot of interior detail and it was all just small grid block kind of stuff. But it is much more difficult to pull it off and pull it off correctly. I like this hallway, by the way. I'm a sucker for these octagon or hexagon hallways. I think this would be octagon, right? Because there's 6 on the sides and 2 on the top. Yeah, I think that's octagon. But yeah, I'm a sucker for those kind of like, not circular, but that kind of like, I always call it Imperial because I think one of the first places I ever saw it was on the Death Star and stuff from Star Wars, was you got that like octagon shape or hexagon shape depending on what you were looking at. I'm not really sure, like, if you were talking to an architect, what the technical term for that actually is. But we have a med bay here, which works pretty well. Looks good. I like it. This actually reminds me of the Mass Effect. Like the first one on the first Normandy is kind of what that reminds me of. It's even kind of pushed off to the side here kind of thing. That's what that medical bay reminds me of. I don't know if that's what they were going for or not, but that's what it reminds me of. Engineering blast doors. Where were... Oh, right here. I was like, where would the doors be? So that's going to seal off your...
Tanks at 100%.
Oh. Well, that's new. That's another mod I've never seen before. So there's actual, like, tanks in the oxygen tanks. And these things, what are these? Midnight Heavy Singularity Reactors. Okay. Is this all one block? Or is this different ones? No, it looks like... If I'm getting this correctly, it looks like this is the center one and then these 2 plate ones are the ends, is what I'm guessing here. And that would be the Midnight Heavy Singularity in there, I'm guessing. Interesting. I have never seen that mod before. I don't know how that works. I'm assuming, this is an assumption on my part, but I'm assuming it's a ginormous jump drive, not like... Well, it said reactor, so it's probably just a crazy power reactor. Interesting. I'm gonna have to look into that mod. That sucker looks frickin' awesome. I don't know how much difficulty would be involved in making it move, but if these rings were all moving, my mind would be blown. And what is this guy? Large cargo pipe. Man, there are some mods that have been coming out that I am not aware of. I've never even seen those before. And what are you? N-Tech Impossibility Cube. Okay. Okay. No idea what that does. It looks amazing. Not sure what it's for. So here's my thing, though. If we have black hole drives, essentially, I mean, it's a singularity. If we have singularity reactors, why in the world do we have a reactor room over here? What's in here, I wonder? Ooh. So let me see if I can flex my mod muscles here for a second. I'm not sure what these floor things are. Catwalk open. Oh, this mod. I know that mod. It looks different. They must have updated the block models. That looks cool. They did some work on that. That's X-25 arc reactors, I think. And then these are the azimuth fusion reactors. Okay. And then we have... Man, I'm impressed more with this engine room and reactor room than probably anything else so far in this ship. This is one of the best reactor rooms I've ever seen. The only thing that I think would make it cooler is if all of these were spinny. Just because spinning things, it just makes them cooler. I don't know. I don't know if you could do that with the cargo things, but if these arc reactors and stuff were... arc reactors, I'm getting all the names screwed up, don't mind me. If you could get these singularity reactors and stuff to, like, spin and stuff, that would just literally be one of... Oh! Something got disconnected.
Oxygen tanks at 100%.
Yeah, that's freaking cool, though. Like, when I think engine room,
Oxygen tanks at
that's on point.
100%.
That works really well. Alright, so we had a sign somewhere that led us back to the bridge, but we're not going back that way. I want to see what where this goes to. This must be part of the thing that's still incomplete, because the description did mention it wasn't fully finished yet. So I'm guessing since that's very empty, that's probably one of the incomplete areas. So let's head back to the bridge and go down yet another really cool... Now this looks like a hexagon hallway, right? Yeah, I think that's a hexagon. I always get them mixed up. I know what they are, I just get the terms mixed up a lot. So we have things off to the side here that I missed. That's really cool. I really like the interior of this ship so far. This is really nice. We've got hydrogen tanks here.
Establishing atmosphere of
Oxygen tanks here. I really like these catwalks.
It's just oxygen.
It's just oxygen? Is that what it said? That's interesting. I really like these catwalks. They didn't have this kind of model. Ooh, it's even got lights in it. They didn't have this model when I was using this mod. I say this mod because the thumbnail there looks like the same one that I used a long time ago. But they definitely must... If this is the same mod, they definitely must have updated the blocks, because it looks way better and way cooler.
Captain. Everything is going quite well.
That's comforting. Gladys. That's what it sounded like. Everything is going
Good afternoon, Captain. Everything is going. Ship systems switching to standby.
So, I kind of feel like that's an interesting touch, but after a while that would get kind of annoying, in all honesty. Something that if I was using this build I'd probably turn off.
Good afternoon, Captain. Ship systems switching to standby.
Alright, let's get out of there. So where are we located for the bridge? It's got to be somewhere in the middle here, because this is the pivot point for the camera. So it's got to be somewhere right around there in the front of the nose. Without any window things, you can't really tell where you're supposed to be at. So we have Longbow Cruise Missile Launcher. Ooh, that sounds fun. Alarms, horn, open hangar, closed hangar, red alert, landing feet open. Landing arms closed. Different views, not sure what that's for. And it looks like the rest are all clear. So, let's take her for a spin real quick. Can't quite get the camera to spin around behind. Oh, there we go. So we have very nice large thrusters on the back there. Decelerates pretty good. Turns, oh wow, it rotates really good. I don't know how they pulled that one off. Turns not bad. It's actually a lot more responsive than I expected for a ship this size. Okay, I gotta try the longbows. I don't know where they're going to come out from. Oh, there they are. It's not really letting me fire them again. I wonder if they have to detonate first? I guess. So those must be heavier duty missiles since they only fire really, really slow. What else do we have? Landing arms. Let's try that. Landing arms. That's to close them. This says feet. I wonder if I have to open them first. Let's try this button. I'm probably screwing something up by pushing them this fast, but whatever. Ooh, this is really cool on the bottom here. I really like that. I'm not seeing anything. Not that it's not happening, but I'm not really seeing anything. I don't really notice any changes. So yeah, I'm not really sure what those are for. It's probably something that I'm either not seeing or that I'm doing out of order. Who knows? But anyways, I think that's going to do it for us for this episode. So with that, we're going to wrap things up here. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and I will see you all next time. Peace!